matter where you are in the world, CSL Dallas is here as your spiritual home. As a reminder, every day is a day for transformation, spiritual deepening, and heart connection, no matter what's going on. Every day we learn and practice something important that makes a difference. This month we celebrate the various holidays during this special time of year. So no matter what tradition you come from, we honor and celebrate it as we come together as one light, one love, and as the community of CSL Dallas. So let's get ready for today's celebration by putting your hands together for the CSL Dallas music team.
All right, all right.
Hello and welcome. My name is Deirdre Tinker, and I have something to confess here. I guess this is confession. I am wearing quite the get-up today.
Love it. Fabulous.
And the reason for which I'm wearing this get-up is that in December of 1983, this came right out of 1983, I married Joe Tinker. And so he is sick today. It's our anniversary. Is that telling or what? Anyway, when I came down the stairs this morning wearing this getup, he went, "Oh, no, no." Yes, and I said, "Joe, this is what I wore to our reception, and these are the people who love us, and we didn't get to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary because we were sick. So I get to be here today, and I put this getup on, and he said, you got to do what you got to do," which is why we're still married 40 years later. So thank you. Yep. Okay, thank you. Oh, and I'm going to take the liberty to do this because I think he's watching. So he wrote this and sang this to me a long time ago. After all this time and what we've been through, not a moment's lost of the time we knew. There is nothing I would rather do than to spend my whole life here with you. I could spend my whole life, dear, with you. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Joe. All right, we are obviously radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and transforming lives. So let's say that together. Ready? We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives, and so it is. So we love celebrating all the holidays with you, this community, on Sunday mornings, except Sunday, next Sunday, Christmas Eve. There will be no morning activities at all, except perhaps for the elves and angels who will be preparing for Sunday, Christmas Eve. So we're going to have our service at 6:30 p.m. It's a celebration with music, inspiration, connection, and hope. And we're inviting everyone to come spend Christmas Eve with us here Sunday night. Children under 5 will have childcare, and kids, teens, family, and friends are all welcome to be in the sanctuary here with us on Christmas Eve at 6:30 p.m. So you can also journey into the new year through a powerful experience that incorporates multimedia art, meditation, visioning, and community and connection. This is led by our very own Ryan Brown. His event is called The Art of Visioning. It is a transformative workshop to help you set intentions for the new year in a unique way as you visualize and connect with your inner motivations and create tangible reminders to carry with you into 2024. The spots are limited, so registration is necessary, and you get your tickets no later than Friday, December 29th. For the Saturday event, you can go to csldallas.org/events to get those tickets. And now we have the lovely, the effervescent, the magnificent Brianna.
Okay, I'll affirm all of that. I would love to be lovely and effervescent. And so thank you, Deirdre. And I wish I could fit into clothes that I wore 40 years ago. I don't know that everybody here can say that. So I am so delighted today to be here as a representative of our Sacred Service team. Our Sacred Service team is one of the newest teams that we have at CSL Dallas. This is a group of individuals who work to help everybody in our community to plug in and give their gifts in ways that light them up. And one of the tasks that the Sacred Service team takes up is recognizing an individual every single month who is a person who works quietly behind the scenes, perhaps someone you don't know, who helps to make CSL Dallas the magnificent bright beacon that it is. And so igniting self-expression is actually one of our 6 mission areas. I don't know if you actually are aware, we have, in addition to our purpose statement, we have 6 mission areas. And igniting self-expression and making meaningful contribution is one of those. And so today, we are honoring a community member who ignites that fire every single month through her passion for art. Linda Matthews, would you kindly join me on the platform? Linda, please stand right here to my right, sweetheart. Right here to my right. That way, right here. That way the camera can get you. Linda Matthews is our everyday hero for December. Let's give her another hand. So Linda, as many of you probably know, is a gifted artist who has been a member of our community for over 10 years. You can view one of her beautiful paintings, actually, that is in our education center on the wall, right as you're heading down toward the meditation hall on the right. For the past 3 years, Linda has given a sacred yes to giving artists in our community an opportunity to share their creative self-expression as the lead of our Artist Corner, which, as you all know, is in Pankey Hall. So what does Linda do? Well, Linda actually recruits all of the artists. She scouts and she recruits all of the artists that are able to display their art every month in Pankey Hall. And she also lovingly assists them in designing their display. So she's actually there when they're putting their display together. This is not, we're just putting the paintings or the art up. It's designed in a very strategic and aesthetic way that Linda assists with. And in addition to that, she's here every single Sunday. Every single Sunday, she's not only in the sanctuary, but she's in the Artist Corner, supporting the artist and helping to educate those who come to view the art, to appreciate the art as well. And on an even grander scale, Linda plans and executes trunk shows, which allow dozens of our center's members and artists to share their creative expression with our whole community. So I want you to mark your calendars, because our next trunk show is going to be in December of next year of 2024. So if you're an artist or you want to come and actually think about participating and purchasing some of that art, make sure you've got that on your calendar for next year. So thank you, Linda, for igniting self-expression in such a powerful and meaningful way in our community. We love you and we thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been connected for years, welcome. However you found us today, in person or online, we love being in community with you. So stay in the know and the now by following us on social media. Leave us a Google review, or you can sign up for our weekly newsletter, inspirational text, and you can fill out this Connect card from the link in the chat, or at the welcome table here on campus. Stay connected to all the happenings here at CSL Dallas. Now let's settle into this morning with our music team, Candy, Glenda, and Valerie, and then we'll go within and get centered with our practitioner, Cindy Young.
Be still and know quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the love, wait upon the love.
Please join me and go within to that quiet place within your heart. That place where that light, that divine spark, that oneness exists, where your soul is one with the divine, with that divine intelligence, that unconditional love, that peace that passes all understanding, that divine flow of life itself, that cosmic light from within, that place where all conditions of the world simply do not exist, that spiritual truth that you are so grounded in that knowing of the oneness that is the cosmic light. And so it's from this place that we go out into the world together, shining that cosmic light, bringing that cosmic light into the collective consciousness to heal the world, to bring forth that world that works for everyone, that perfect place, that divine spark, that cosmic light, that is that truth of our being. And I know this truth as we come together today, we are reminded that we are that light, that we have the ability to bring that life forth as we show up each and every day and each and every moment, that we stand in that truth, that we are that beacon of light, that we make a difference in this world. And so let's be that light, even if it appears there's darkness, because we are that light. And so we just affirm that, knowing as we show up today and each and every day by saying, and so it is.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the love, wait upon the love. I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the love, wait upon the love. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the love, wait upon the love. I will make a quiet place. I will make December. The sun stands still in winter. For 3 days, 3 long nights. Throughout time, we watched the sky and waited for the sun to come and save us. Save us from the longest nights. For years I was doing things and singing songs that don't make any sense. But if I scratch the surface just a little bit, the holiday paint was very thin. Look to the sky for hope and wonder. There's a star in the east to guide us home. And we are closer now than we ever been to peace on earth, goodwill to men as we celebrate the longest night. Oh, night.
All right, Glenda, get back up here. She walks off and doesn't let everybody. This is Glenda channeling Melissa Etheridge along with Brad, Jonathan, and Matt. Thank you so very much. So please let us acknowledge you and say thank you for that beautiful thing. Whew, holy moly. Oh, my goodness. Okay, between Cindy's prayer and that song, oh my gosh. Now, I'm not sure I have a whole lot to add, but, you know, I'm paid to talk, so you got to listen. Woo, man. I used to only cry on Silent Night. Now I cry on that song every time. Man. Yeah. There's so much going on in all these holidays, and we've been working our way through, and of course we're talking about the emergence of the cosmic light because we are inspired now by the winter solstice, and that is Melissa Etheridge's beautiful song for the winter solstice, and to remind us that there's something powerful going on. Right, and in the solstices and the equinoxes, these are all really powerful moments in the space-time continuum on our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful planet, in our lovely human suits that we are in, having these amazing experiences. And these precious times are so very important. And of course, the winter solstice and the celebration of the winter solstice has really been renewed through the pagan or neo-pagan and Wiccan traditions. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, because I think we forget how deeply embedded our holiday traditions are in these ancient celebrations, and along with the fact that we are individualized expressions of the One, we are those expressions incarnated and embodied here on planet Earth in this beautiful nature and expression of life. These two things are simultaneously true. Right, last week we talked about the time and effort that it takes to grow spiritually. The week before, we recognized that life is just not always in the light. And yeah, it's not always roses and miracles. Next week, we'll be talking about the cosmic Christ and the consciousness of that revelation. And finally, the last week, we'll wrap it all up in how important community is in all of this. But the roots of all of these traditions, particularly in the West, particularly in the North, in the Europe and American traditions, which have for so long been so ubiquitous due to colonization, has been all over the world. And now, of course, for the economics of it all, you might be surprised to know that America is only number 12 on the amount of money that's spent in December for the holidays. The U.S. is only number 12 on the list. So you think it's crazy here. But our roots are so deep. And sometimes we forget that so many of the Christmas traditions that we have actually come and borrow, well, I don't want to say borrow from, quite frankly, they co-opted the traditions that were discovered in Northern Europe, in Europe and Northern Europe as the Roman Empire spread. And as you may recall, the Roman Empire in 323, the Roman Emperor Constantine, he converted to Christianity because he saw the cross in the sky, and the priest had said, God will help you cross the river, and that was the beginning of the expansion of the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire was Catholic, and they took Catholicism, which was the only Christianity at the time. They took Catholicism all the way up to the northernmost parts of Europe and on into the British Isles. And so everywhere where they went, they found already indigenous traditions. We often think of indigenous traditions as our Native American here in the United States, indigenous traditions in Africa, in Australia, the Maoris in New Zealand. And yet there, surprisingly as it may sound to all of us, there were actually indigenous traditions in Europe as well. And those traditions are so much of the seed of the way we celebrate this holiday called Christmas outside of the story of the virgin birth that we find in the Bible. So, yeah, we don't always know how heavily we borrow. So that was a nice little preamble. Okay, good. Now we know where we are. So let me say two other things. First of all, I was really planning on having a ritual today. And the problem is, first of all, I don't always know how to include the people, those of you online. And the only ritual I could think of was to give you all a little tiny piece of a fir tree as a representation of all that we're going to talk about today. The problem is, by the time you leave here, that little tiny piece of fir tree is going to be dead and brown. And I might hand it to you, and you're like, what is this? Right? So, in lieu of handing you a fir tree, a little piece of fir tree, and for those of you online, we're just going to invite you to imagine that I've handed you a little piece of fir tree. A little piece of fir tree as a representation of the deep roots, the deep, deep, deep roots that this time of year has. So, I was not raised with the song, O Christmas Tree. I was raised with the song, O Tannenbaum. O Tannenbaum, wie grün sind deine Blätter. Du grünst nicht nur zur Sommerzeit, but auch im Winter, wenn es schneit. O Tannenbaum, wie grün sind deine Blätter. O Tannenbaum does not translate into O Christmas Tree. O Tannenbaum correctly O Christmas tree would actually be, the original word would be O Weihnachtsbaum. O Tannenbaum means O fir tree. And if you look at the English translation of O Christmas Tree, which I actually truthfully don't know, I had to look up, it's all about how lovely are your branches and your beauty. O Christmas tree, your beauty. All about how lovely and green you are and your beauty. Which is okay as it goes, but it's not what the original means. The original is not about a Christmas tree. It's about an evergreen tree, a fir tree. And it talks about that you're green in winter as well as in summer. And it says, you give me so much joy because of your greenness. And this greenness that you have that so fills me with joy is a teaching. It teaches me about hope and persistence. It just sometimes really irritates me the way that these things are co-opted and rewritten. It teaches me about hope and persistence. And it gives comfort and strength to every time, especially in the dark of the longest night. Persistence, hope, comfort, strength, joy, to me, is a whole different message than your beauty is something that I think is lovely. Do you feel the difference? Yeah, right? O Tannenbaum was actually not a cute little kid song. It was actually a really powerful sharing and expression of the beauty of the forest in winter, the pine forests in winter, and that they were still green and growing and alive despite the death of winter, the challenge of winter, the cold of winter. And so how many of us have had Christmas cards that actually have these winter scenes on them, that have the animals and the tree out in the forest? This comes directly down to us from the Northern European indigenous traditions that were there and celebrated for millennium before the Roman Empire brought Catholicism and Christianity. Of course, the same thing is true with the berry and the holly. The holly and the ivy, how many of us know that song, the holly and the ivy, right? And so for long before the turn from BCE to CE, or from, if you're from an older generation, from BC to AD, which of course makes the year that was associated with the birth of Jesus the primary year. And so long before that time, people in the north, in Europe, were decorating their homes with the evergreen boughs and the red berries. Why? Because they were bringing the Tannenbaum inside, right? They were bringing hope and persistence, comfort and strength right into their homes. No matter how cold and snowy and blizzardy it was outside, life was alive, and there is an aliveness here. And so they decorated their halls long before we brought them in as garlands. And of course, it was co-opted, as you may recall, as you may know, as the holly as the crown of thorns, and the berries, the red berries, is the blood of Jesus. And so when you decorate your house with the garlands, that is been now brought into Christmas as a way of celebrating the Christian story. The story is actually much older than that, as I've shared in this lovely childhood song. Now, there's another song from that I remember my mother singing when we would make Christmas cookies. And I'm wearing this beautiful red shawl because I got this from my mother when she passed away. It was one of the ones that I took from the stack of shawls. My mom was a shawl wearer, huge stack of silk and other kinds of shawls. And yeah, because my mother, despite her deep roots in Christianity, this was her favorite Christmas song. And it's called Leise rieselt der Schnee. And leise rieselt der Schnee, still und starr ruht der See, weihnachtlich glänzet der Wald, freue dich, Christkind kommt bald. Leise rieselt der Schnee is quietly falls the snow. Quiet and still rests the lake. The forest glistens like Christmas. Be joy-filled. The Christ child is coming soon. And I still sing that song today, and I can feel the snow, right? We've all been in those snowfalls, and it's so quiet and beautiful and still, and the lakes and ponds are frozen, and there's peace. It's not about the blizzard. It's not about the cold. It's this beautiful peace. And when the sun comes out, everything sparkles. And in this song, we're not waiting for Santa Claus. It's the Christ child that comes on Christmas Eve. It's not Santa Claus. It's not Saint Nick. It's not Santa Claus. It's the Christ child. And going through this beautiful winter scene, the next line starts with, "But in our hearts it is warm." It is warm because of the beauty and the light of the forest. Of course, even though the forest is in snow. And do you see, these songs have these ancient roots in a recognition that there is something deeper going on. And we're so embodied, we're so incarnated, that despite the fact that we're spiritual beings, I don't want to say despite, that's not quite, but despite the constant desire to remember that we're spiritual beings, we are actually ensouled, embodied, incarnated, and are very much expressing that essential reality here on earth. And our roots in transcendentalism and our roots in Ernest Holmes and the science of mind continually reminds us that it is nature that teaches us about the universal principles. It's nature that teaches us about these deep, unequivocal truths. It's nature that shows us about the physical cycles of life and birth and death, and how that is still the outpicturing of this eternal, immortal life, as we see in the Tannenbaum. Forever green, providing us with hope, comfort, strength, and persistence. So all of these traditions are deeply rooted in the Northern European, from North Africa all the way up through the Northern European indigenous peoples, and has rested in our psyche for a really long time. And yet we've disembedded ourselves from that in our climate-controlled life, right? We have wanted not only our homes to be always somewhere between 72 and 74, but we've also sort of assumed that our life should always be on go, not recognizing that there are rhythms and seasons, and we have forgotten that, and we have to remember to our well-being that we are not machines. Despite the fact that we use a machine as a metaphor for our bodies, we can use a machine and a computer as a metaphor for our brains. We actually are rooted here, because this is one of the many, 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 many physical expressions and places where the infinite is actually being physical, created, expressed in this beauty. And that's what I remember from both of these songs, is that there is such a deep recognition that life is beautiful and it is precious. And so, what did we do with it besides the Christian overtaking of all of this, co-opting of all of this? Then we have this lovely figure of Santa Claus. I always heard that Santa Claus was from the 1940s, from a Coca-Cola ad. It's actually not completely true. It was from an 1820 ad. All 100 years before Coca-Cola. It was from an 1820 ad. And using it to get rid of all the leftover goods in people's on the shelves at the end of the year. They were trying to get rid of the inventory. So this little red elf-like figure began showing up in advertisements. And in the 1830s, a man named Mr. Moore wrote "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," because he wanted people to stop roaming the Wild West and the wild cities in the East, and go home and be quiet, to be more situated in their own homes. And it was a deliberate desire to wait for this little red man who was going to bring all of the goodies that somebody had gone to the store and purchased. It's just fascinating. Fascinating how all of this, and of course, hearkening back to the St. Nicholas in Europe and Santa Claus in Denmark, which you may not know actually was celebrated on the 6th of December, not on Christmas Eve, actually celebrated on the 6th of December. So co-opting and co-opting and co-opting and taking it in. Does it make it bad? No, it doesn't make it bad at all. It helps us remember that there's more going on, and to not become hyper-focused on any one particular thing and say, this is the meaning of Christmas. This is the meaning of the holidays. There's lots of meanings and lots of things that we can really allow ourselves to lean into. So I must confess that I was taught to give a talk. When I was taught to give a talk, you have to have 3 points. You have to have a point, and you have to lead people through 3 points to the point so that you can inspire them to something. And I'm not doing that today. So what you're getting to hear is what goes on in my brain. This is what goes on in my brain. So this is like this is more like an essay. Today is more like an essay. All of the parts are a little bit disparate. They don't necessarily follow in some linear fashion, point A, point 1, point 2, point 3. So I just invite you to explore with me, or maybe some new idea, because there were some things in here I didn't know. And yeah, the winter solstice. Yeah, we all know what the winter solstice, right? Longest day, 3 long nights, and of course up in the north, that meant it was dark the entire time. They barely got twilight. The sun didn't even rise above the horizon if you were in the very far north. And yeah, that was like, and just like Stonehenge and lots of places around the world, lots of things were done to construct and understand the heavens. They were not just purely hoping that it wouldn't stay dark forever. They actually knew that. And they were ceremonially bringing back the light, or reminding themselves that despite the darkness, the light was coming back. And so these traditions were found in Northern Europe. And all those ways we've just talked about were brought into the idea of the Christian tradition. And then there came this word that was associated now with winter solstice. And that word is paganism. And if you don't know, pagan basically was coined in the 4th century, and it means non-Christian. That's what pagan means. Heathen and infidel also means my religion, right? Heathen is non-Christian, infidel is non-Muslim, but they have a little more of a bite to them. There's a little more of a pejorative idea. Pagan just really is, these are the indigenous traditions, and they are non-Christian. They are associated with those groups that are polytheistic, animistic, and pantheistic. We also find those all over the world in indigenous traditions, all over the world, native traditions on every continent. What's more important than those academic words is the idea of nature. Now, once again, I think an unconscious bias is being shown when in everything that you read about it, it says nature worship. Because from a Christian point of view, the only way to engage with the divine or the spirit is to worship it. When, in fact, if you think about anything that you know about Native American traditions, which is true in all traditions, there is something much deeper going on than worshiping nature. There is a revelation that nature is bringing. There is a relationship that is being experienced. There is a deep recognition of the oneness that a human being has in its own embedded world with the animals and the plants and everything that's going on, the stars and the sun and the moon. There's a massive amount of recognition of that relationship, and there is a deep desire to be in alignment with it, to allow it to inform us. Who is it who wrote Sermons in the Stones? Hearing the hands clap, hallelujah, right? Nature worship, I'm not quite sure what word we would do, word we would use. I would use nature communion. The communing with nature, with these spirits. Now, paganism was not self-applied by any of these people. It was applied by the Christians, and ultimately one of the key ideas was, that these people were worshiping false gods. So that's where the little bit of pejorative nature comes in with Christianity, with using this word pagan, and that it was primarily rural and provincial, those people that are out there. Well, what do they know? They don't live in the cities. They're not sophisticated enough. They don't really get what we're doing here. Because rural people in all times and places live closer to the earth, more in tune with it than we do as we go around our climate-controlled lives. Yeah. So the next thing that comes to mind is today we talk about not just pagan, but Wiccan. And I always thought Wiccan was like old, like Celtic and Druidic, and not. It's not. The Wiccan tradition actually was birthed in the 1930s. And we might call it neo-paganism. It's modern paganism, and it's the reconstructing or the reacquainting ourselves with these older traditions. There's versions of it that are Hermetic, that are what we would consider purely Wiccan, that are Hellenistic, and are associated in a lot of ways with New Age. And so there's this whole resurgence in the 1930s with this deep appreciation for and desire to re-engage with nature. Again, I would submit to us that this is very much in alignment with Science of Mind. If you look at Ernest Holmes's continued conversation about nature with the roots in the transcendentalists, and the romantic poets and the romantic painters, all of whom found spirit in nature, and to break out of some of the cultural norms and to move into a larger expression. So I found this, which I thought was really interesting. Wiccans worship nature, often personified as Mother Earth and Father Sky. They can use many different titles for their deities, and choose particular gods or goddesses from different religions around the world, respecting all traditions. And I love this idea, right, that when we are really recognizing the teaching that's available in nature, it makes us more inclusive. There's something worth contemplating. The teachings in nature make us more inclusive if we allow them to reveal something to us. Most Wiccan covens also practice magic, in which they, listen to this, direct and use universal energy to affect an entity to a desired result. Some call it magic with an M-I-G-I-K, as you see up there on the screen, to not mistake it for sleight of hand. And there is a threefold rule, a rule of threefold return. Positive magic directed towards someone will come back 3 times, but so will negative. And so in these traditions, the pagan tradition and the Wiccan tradition, which has a whole boatload of interesting things associated with it, from the history of the last 2,000 years, there's something so profound in the recognition that not only does nature teach us inclusivity, it teaches us how to be for life, which we translate into for good. Nature isn't moral, it's not necessarily ethical, but it's always about more life, for growth, for a fuller expression. And isn't that what we wish for ourselves and others? And is so much what we do in our spiritual mind treatment. When you do an incantation in Wiccan, it usually ends in either blessed be or as I will it, so mote it be. And what do we say? So it is. right? And so it is. There's something so, inviting about this deep engagement with nature that we lose and have lost in many ways at our peril. So we come to the winter solstice, and the winter solstice is generally shown as the light has disappeared. Now we have to do something with the darkness so the light comes back. And I loved Amy Martin's winter solstice program that we were involved in for many, 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 many years, because she always recognized that these two things are not in opposition. Light and dark are not in opposition, and they are actually somehow moving together. And yet we so often, we have this idea of the hero's journey, right? I'm a big one. I love Harry Potter. I love the, Lord of the Rings, Joseph Campbell's stuff, Star Wars, right? It's all the same. It's the typical hero's journey. And in the hero's journey, good is always versus evil, light is always versus dark. And in our spirituality, light can be always about illuminating, enlightenment, and seeking something that is good. And the dark usually has fear associated with it, or something that we want to overcome, especially when we think of our shadow. And yet, those of us who live in Dallas, perhaps you have this experience wherever you're living. Isn't sometimes the light too much? Too much, too hot, too harsh. Think of an interrogation light. While light can illuminate and can bring things forward, it also can be too much and too strong and too harsh. And so while the dark is often associated with fear, there's something about the dark in these beautiful two songs that I shared with you, where the winter is actually restful. It's not something to be afraid of. It's restful. It has beauty in its own right, and it's inviting us to have something be revealed to us. And the light is forever illuminating the exterior of things. It seems to me that it is in the dark that the interior is made available, because the ultimate association with the dark is the womb. And then I have my beloved, who is an amazing photographer, and she's taught me about this thing called the golden hour. 1 hour before sunrise and 1 hour before sunset. The golden hour. And it is actually during the golden hour that you want to take pictures, because in the sun, in the middle of the day, the sun's too bright, it's too harsh, makes too many shadows, and that doesn't make your skin look really pretty either. And in the dark, obviously, you can't see anything, or you have to hold the camera really still for a really long time, or everything is blurry. The golden hour, the hour before sunrise, after sunrise. I did that backwards, didn't I? There's my dyslexia right there. Okay, so it should actually say an hour after sunrise and before sunset. Sorry about that. And this is, and you get the truest, softest, most beautiful colors, and it's in this transition time. And I this is my musings about winter solstice. We always focus on the light and the dark and blah, blah, blah. And so I kept thinking about the golden hour, but the golden hour. Yeah. One of the things nature teaches us is that time and life are not black and white. They're not. Things don't just start or stop. It's not good or bad. It's not happy or sad, all in discrete. It's either this or it's that. There's not always a beginning or an end identifiable. We're not saved or doomed. We're not perfect or awful. Yeah. I think what nature teaches us is that everything is just a shade of gray. And I think that's what the yin-yang symbol is about. what you may not know is that the yin-yang symbol is actually supposed to be seen as a moving representation. It's not static. And if it's moving and moving well, the two pieces are basically chasing each other around the circle to a certain extent, but what's really happening is the dark is coming into the light, and the light is coming into the dark. That's why those two little dots are there. And they're actually like shifting places. And it's a constantly moving, these things are constantly happening. So life is both happy and sad, right? And we are complex enough beings that we can actually hold that. Life is both good and bad. Life is all of that in this experience. We know that that's not necessarily true from the absolute point of view. But what winter solstice and the nature traditions give us is a falling back in love with our humanity, our physicality, and the beauty that's here for us, and how much nature can give to us in that, and how we lose nature at our peril. So, this week, I've really been spending a lot of time on this, and I invite you to do the same. Spend time with this idea that you are part of the earth too. It's not about what's right and what's wrong. It's about the beauty of growth and evolution and the cycles and the seasons. And in all of that, life reveals itself to us if we are paying attention. I think that is what we could be celebrating when we are celebrating the cosmic light.
Good morning. Yes, I'm happy to be home. For those of you who know, I've been away. I just want to say that what you probably don't know is our community continues to expand far beyond Dallas and our online community. In September, there were people in Bali learning about our community and now are watching. And the same thing just happened in Egypt. You should have seen Dr. Tracy Brown watching the Science Mind class on the bus as we were going to a temple, and everybody wanted to know, how can I tap into this? So I share that. And I'm really happy to be here. We are grounded in nature. We're grounded in the seasons of life. And I get to have the honor to stand up here before you and ask for something this morning. Not for myself, not for the staff, but for each and every one of you. And I have come to find out that I no longer can take my life for granted. I can't take my health for granted. I can't take my family for granted. I can't take this community for granted. None of us can. 60 years is a long time, and we can't take this community for granted. And so this isn't sometimes an easy thing, but I asked Peter, can I stand up in front of the community, online, here, whenever we hear this, and do an end-of-the-year ask? Because the truth is we need it. This community and the staff and the core council, in 10 years, I've never seen such a responsible adult relationship with your money. It can't be cut further and further down. It just can't. The staff has gone down in the number of people. All of you recently got an email. If you saw the video, make sure you read beyond the video, because I just watched the video from the staff, great video staff, but I didn't read everything else. So if you didn't read everything else, go back home and read it, because it really explains what's happening right now. But here's what I know. We've all been in a receivership. Why have we been in the givingness? Because we've all given this year to this community. But we also have received a lot this year from this community. And people have received from this community in ways that we can't even imagine. And there are people such as single mothers receiving. There are teachers receiving. There are entrepreneurs receiving. There are children receiving. There are opera singers, which I knew I was going to say that this morning long before, but I called in Tammy Williams, opera singer, is here this morning because she's in town, right? So there are opera singers receiving from this community. There are grandparents receiving from this community. There are people in other countries receiving from this community. And we're in the season of giving. The annual budget set before this year was $898,000. And the staff did so well, but we're in the red $63,000 right now. And one of the things that the leadership was expecting was something carrying over through the COVID funds that were going to come in, and it's been shut off. The door's shut. So that was about the amount was expected to be received, and they just found out it's not going to be received. So how do we all come into this? Well, $63,000. I like to play with numbers. It's just zeros, right? It's 63 with 3 zeros. Well, if 63 of us gave $1,000, boom, we're here. Well, if, 126 of us gave $500, boom, we're here. Well, if each of us that have been here for 1 year or more gave $100 for every year that we've been receiving, I know that we're here. If the people watching were to give $5, $10, $30 extra right now, I'm telling you, we'll be in the black instead of the red. And it's really important that we move in that direction before we start next year because we don't have a lot of reserves anymore. I'm never going to take this place for granted because as long as I have a breath, I'm going to contribute to this community no matter where I am in the world because each and every one of you and those have yet to come deserve it because this place is special. So this is the end of the year ask. Give your nonprofit dollars to this community and let's celebrate at the end of the year that we're in the black, not in the red. I love you so much and I'm happy to be home.
And with that, let's do our abundance affirmation. Here we go. Today, I lift my consciousness to bless everything. I live in joyous anticipation, quiet realization, and gratitude. CSL Dallas expects good to manifest for all. We proclaim the glad tidings of abundance for everyone, and so it is. And there are many ways to give. You can give through these baskets that are being passed. Text giving, Venmo, PayPal, auto tithing. You can put this in if you already donate. And if you'd like to make a cash donation, you can do that there's a little envelope in that basket to receive a tax benefit. So thank you, and thank you, Reverend Karen. And the circle of life continues in all ways. So you can join us for a very special New Year's Day Burning Bowl celebration here at CSL or online. And the Burning Bowl is not some hand-slung pottery that we fire in a kiln. No. Mm-mm. But it is something that will be burning within you for the rest of the year because it's an opportunity for you to set your intentions and join in this powerful ritual that will bring you along for the rest of the year in 2024. And you'll need to come a little bit early. It starts at noon to get a good seat because a lot of us come with this burning desire to set our intentions in 2024 with the Burning Bowls ceremony. So, this one is Dr. Petra? No, I'm going to talk about you. Never mind. Thank you. You don't have to come up here again. But I love it when you are here. Thank you so much. She is hosting a very special workshop this upcoming January 6th. It's called Living from the Inside Out, which, by the way, was an amazing movie. If you didn't get to see that, you should see that too. This workshop is designed to engage your deepest self, your core beliefs, and your internal compass. This gives you solid spiritual ground on which to stand and on which to move. This is perfect for moving into a new year. And as an added bonus, we are giving everyone who registers before January 5th a 50% discount on the Manifestation and Mysticism e-course that is now available that Petra, Dr. Wildis, also does. These two courses together will give you a deeper dive into understanding more about how to apply the universal principles to your life. And immediately after the Sunday celebration today, you can receive a spiritual support session with one of the licensed coaches. You go across to the Peace Room, or you can go into the chat line via Zoom if you're online. You could also fill out a spiritual support request form. It has a QR code. We are so happening. And you can place it in the wooden box at the back of the sanctuary. You know that place. This sanctuary. This is where we find sanctuary also. Also, we get to eat cake. You are invited to go across into Pankey Hall and have cake after this. After we close today with our amazing, I'm sorry, and the diva in the middle, just, today. Well, there's three divas up here, but today, woo! Anyway, with the music team, here we go.